in all of the research that you've done, everything that you've written about, is there like one aspect of Hindu science that you find to be the most amazing, that as you first came across it, you were literally like, wow, gobsmacked at how amazing it is?
It's not easy for me to point out one thing. There are so many of these. I can document, like for example, the concept of zero and infinity. It came out of the, Hindu philosophy, where they were trying to define God. And there were two ways to define God. One was by telling what attributes he does not have, like neti neti. So with that concept, that led to the concept of zero. And the second was assigning God attributes. And that led to the concept of infinity. And I have to share one thing, since I'm talking about zero, that in year 2000, American Association for the Advancement of Science, which is the largest and the most respected, science body in America, they decided to compile all the top 100 scientific contributions in history. And zero was one of those 100 contributions. In fact, only 2 contributions came from the non-Western world, and both contributions were from the Hindus. Hindu astronomy and zero, these are the 2 top 100 contributions in science in history. So that's a wow moment for me. Another one was Aryabhata's assigning motion to the earth. In Aryabhata's model, earth was not stationary, it was moving. And the period of Mercury and sun were different. So that can only happen in a heliocentric system. It cannot happen in a geocentric system. So I find it so remarkable. Third was, I studied the history of the world, and I have written books about the history of science in world cultures. And I have realized that when the Alexandrian library in Egypt was burned, Egypt lost its glory. Egypt was no longer a leader in science and technology. When Spain, libraries were burned in Spain, Spain lost its glory. That happened much later. And the same thing happened when the Hulagu Khan burned books in Baghdad. Baghdad, which was a very powerful empire, lost its glory. So all these cultures, when the libraries were burned, they lost their dominance in science and technology. While in India, in the Islamic invasions, these things were so common. Libraries in Nalanda, Vikramshila, Mathura, and so on, they were burned. But once those libraries were burned, they were reproduced. And so India did not lose its power, its knowledge, its strength. And that happened because of the oral culture of the Hindus, which is, by the way, truly remarkable, where there is a class of people called Brahmins, who memorize Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas. And in India, we have surnames like Vedi, Divedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. These are all based on how many Vedas they have memorized. So it was an oral culture based on memory. And that's what in Greece, Pythagoras learned. And it's a documents are very clear about it, that he learned it from India, from the Hindus. And so that's another wow moment for me. So there are so many, I can go on, but I think, I should stop at this stage.
Fantastic, thank you. So it really strikes me that there's something quite unique about the Hindu tradition that allowed all of this fantastic science to emerge. And you've just given a few examples of the oral tradition and how that allowed it to bounce back after invasions and burning down of the libraries. And also the concept of Brahman, and that then led to the idea of zero. So are there any other aspects around the Hindu tradition that you feel nurtured science?
Oh, yes. There is a reason why science was bound to prosper in Hindu culture. And I can provide you, quite a few arguments in support of that. For example, Hindus' thoughts are always open to questioning. So, like, for example, Gita, what Arjuna did was ask question to Krishna, and Krishna had to answer those questions rather than saying, listen to me, otherwise you'll go to hell. Follow me. No, he did not say, because in our tradition, we are seekers. Hindus are always seekers of knowledge, and we follow our own dharma. What we feel right, we follow that. So this culture of rational culture was a core of Hindu religion and Hindu culture. Second thing, any two human beings, when we are living together, are bound to have differences. So conflict is as natural as friendship. Now, once you have conflict, how do you resolve that conflict? And in Hindu tradition, there was a tradition of shastrarth, that you debate and you convince the other side whether you are right or wrong. And that was a standard practice. In fact, that was a way how many times people got married. So, there is a bride and they invited, a large number of grooms, and they had to debate, and the bride selected one of those people. And so that was a standard, practice in India. And that helped, because if you can debate about your ideas, that's the best way to evolve your thinking. So that was another, way Hindus were so good in improving their ideas. Another thing, if you want to know the, nature of that culture, you know how teachers are respected in that culture, how gurus are respected in Hindu culture. They are very well respected figures. In fact, there is a festival called Guru Purnima, and that tells you that how much these teachers were respected. Another very important thing, if you know the history of Europe, many times science and religion were in conflict with each other. In India, no Galileo was ever imprisoned. Among the Hindus, no Bruno was ever burned to death. In India, among the Hindus, the primary goal is to achieve moksha. Moksha means liberation, where you go beyond the cycle of transmigration of soul. And rules were defined how to achieve moksha. And mathematics, astronomy, fine arts, these were the tools to achieve moksha. Like in Chandogya Upanishad, Narad tells us, that he knows astronomy and mathematics. So astronomy and mathematics were a tool to achieve moksha. Medicine was a tool to achieve moksha. Music was a tool to achieve moksha. That's what Ravi Shankar was doing. That's the reason he never allowed to get drunk in his concert or smoking. He never even allowed people to smoke in it because music was his way to worship God. So all these fine arts and sciences were bound to prosper among the Hindus, and that's what happened.